Welcome to MojoPlays. Today we're looking at 10 predictions for Mass Effect 4.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
What will we find in the galaxy this time? For this list, we're going through our best predictions for the next mainline Mass Effect game. Beware, there will be spoilers ahead for plot points in the Mass Effect trilogy and Andromeda.
Might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence.
The Reapers.
Good to see your memory's still intact.
A new race.
The L-Corps were just beginning to explore Council space when the Asari first made contact with us.
Mass Effect has some of the most varied alien races of any sci-fi franchise. They're not all bipedal humanoids, and some of them, like the L-Corps and Hanar, are downright weird. That's why we hope Bioware introduces a new race for the next installment, which will likely be set a few centuries after the events of Mass Effect 3. In that time, a fledgling civilization could have advanced enough to develop space travel. They could be a friendly species that players can't wait to romance, or they could be hostile and aggressive, but probably also romanceable if past games are anything to go by. Regardless, a new kid on the block would be a lot of fun.
Will you extend an invitation to your people? We'd welcome anyone who can help.
Better combat.
Doesn't look like they came here in force.
No matter how much you love the Mass Effect games, they've never been known for their gameplay. These story-driven RPGs have long featured modes to tone down the combat difficulty, so much so that you can cruise through it, all in service of getting more people to go through the incredible campaigns. But it would definitely be nice if Bioware took the improvements made to the combat system in Andromeda and kept going with them. For all of Andromeda's flaws, it did have fun combat thanks to Ryder's jetpack and mobility. Hopefully, we can still hover in the air and jump around the map to fight whatever enemies await in the next installment. Closure on the Quarian Arc.
A treaty violation is nothing compared to recovering our homeworld and advanced AI technology.
Your homeworld? You mean Rannoch?
Correct, Commander.
You spent a large chunk of Andromeda searching for the missing arcs carrying the Milky Way's most prominent species. The Asari, Turians, and Solarians all need Ryder to head out and rescue them. But there was another arc carrying some of the species the game was sorely missing, including the fan-favorite Quarians. This was left open-ended for future DLC, but, as everyone knows, DLC never arrived for Andromeda because of its lackluster reception. But the upcoming sequel might finally give us closure on this plot point. After all, the last arc is presumably still out there, and someone needs to save it. There was a tie-in novel released to address this, but it would be great to see it in the game nonetheless.
We're in the wilderness here. We can tame it, but it will fight back.
Wait till it meets the Asari.
Better morality system.
Tell me about your services.
I sell guns. I don't think humans need any more than they already have.
The Paragon and Renegade system was good in 2007, but by now it's worn a little thin. Since Shepard always has to be the hero of the galaxy, you can't make too many choices that are overtly evil. There are some, of course, but you still don't have much room to move between these two set paths. It would be nice to see the morality system revitalized for the next game, and potentially to have a protagonist who isn't a member of the Alliance, and so doesn't need to ultimately do what the Alliance wants. We could also see more nuanced choices rather than a red choice for Renegade points and a blue choice for Paragon points.
Had to wipe out a few hundred of your followers along the way. Sorry if I kept you waiting.
You've lost. You know that, don't you?
Returning characters.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says.
In the game's announcement teaser, we already saw one familiar face, Liara Tassoni, who was front and center as she explored a snowy planet and found a piece of lost N7 armor, potentially Shepard's. But what about the characters we haven't seen yet? Well, the Asari and Krogan have the longest lifespans, so we might see additional returning Asari characters and some old Krogan. Grunt is a big possibility since he was already so young during Mass Effect 2 and 3. And we'll probably see at least a few descendants of some of the most beloved characters, like the great-great-grandchildren of Garrus or Tali, if they survived Mass Effect 3, that is.
If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Canon choices.
Legion, the answer to your question was yes.
I know, Tali. But thank you.
We'll have to wait and see how Bioware factors in the many choices across all 4 games, but it might be a difficult obstacle to surmount. In the Dragon Age games, which feature different protagonists in all 3, the actions primarily focused on are the ones that happen no matter what. You always have to defeat the Archdemon in Origins, and the Chantry will always be destroyed in 2. Smaller choices might go forgotten, especially given the gap between games. It's certain that major choices like whether to cure the Genophage, whether to save the Rachni, and whether you save the Quarians, Geth, or both, will be addressed, but they might not be major parts of the next story.
Admiral, had you considered possible settlement sites?
The southern continent had excellent farmland, as I recall.
Shepard won't be there.
We'll never know exactly what it was like, but yes, the archives tell the true story of those who came before us.
Yes, we saw N7 armor in the teaser, which most likely belongs to Shepard, but it's not likely that Shepard will reappear in the next game. Their death in the majority of the Mass Effect 3 endings was, after all, the second time they cheated death after being killed by the Collectors at the beginning of Mass Effect 2, and it would be a little unfair to revive Shepard yet again. The benefit of this is that it opens the doors for a huge character creator where you can play as an Asari, Turian, Krogan, and so on. This sounds ambitious, but Bioware already did the exact same thing in Dragon Age, giving you the option to play as a human, elf, or dwarf in Origins, and then all of those, plus the Qunari in Inquisition. The Reapers return. Andromeda was sorely lacking without the enormous existential threat of the Reapers, and the next game is going to need an even bigger, even more existential threat to top them. But could the Reapers themselves make a grand return? Well, it would be a cop-out to just bring the Reapers back and have them be the big bad again, but that doesn't mean they'll be gone completely. We saw at least one dead Reaper in the teaser, but it's possible that somebody could try to rebuild them. This might be a new group of villains who want a WMD of their own, or maybe it could be the game's main characters, wanting to use a Reaper to fight off something else. Destroy is the canon ending. Infamously, people don't like Mass Effect 3's ending. With the DLC factored in, there was really only 4 choices: destroy, control, synthesis, and refuse. The first sees Shepard finally destroying the Reapers and all other forms of synthetic life. The second sees Shepard control the Reapers and use them as a force for good. The third sees Shepard merge organic and synthetic life. And the last one was added post-launch and sees Shepard refuse to pick any of these options. From the Reaper corpse in the teaser, it looks like Destroy is going to be the canon ending. They'll have to choose one, because otherwise they'd be developing 4 totally different games. But hopefully, in the intervening years, synthetic life forms such as the Geth and EDI could have been rebuilt.
And we will honor those who died to give us that future.
It will involve Andromeda. Some hints that Michael Gamble, the game's project director at Bioware, put on Twitter after the teaser trailer's release suggest that the next game will unify Andromeda and the original trilogy. And many have pointed out that one of the figures at the end of the teaser looks like an Angara. It's not clear how this will work since it already took the characters in Andromeda 600 years to reach the galaxy, but it will presumably be explained. Perhaps new uber-powerful mass relays will be built to traverse the gap, or even a wormhole. We've seen crazier things after all. Though Andromeda was a resounding disappointment, it's nice to see it get some love, though hopefully the Ket never reappear.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.